Darrell, Issa of California, and I look forward to going to Copenhagen too. But I look forward to it because it is, in fact, an important opportunity to talk about, to be honest, ClimateGate. To talk about the question of whether or not we proceed forward with data which is now legitimately in doubt. This debate is going on in Great Britain, it's going on throughout Europe, because they're deeply concerned that it makes a huge difference in the solutions that you pick based on the facts that underlie the problem. Even if you accept that global warming is man-made, a small difference in measurements would be a huge difference in how soon the threat would come and what our reaction would be. And Molly, so because you gave me that wonderful look, I'll give you the answer that goes to your question.
That doesn't count my question.
Well, it does. Jake will ask another one for you. If you think about it, if in fact you have a 20% or 30% lower figure of man's impact, this is over and above nature's impact, you could be talking about 150 or 500 years before we reach a terrible point versus a matter of a couple of years. The difference in the solutions, as I like to say, $1 trillion is too important to waste here in Washington. We're talking about trillions of dollars will be the impact to our economy in jobs and in money of cap and tax if we do it today. If, on the other hand, we take those dollars and we allocate them toward clean, long-term renewable fuels, toward research that we have some time for, toward transitions that make sense without losing a single American job or endangering our position, our economic position in the world, that same $1 trillion could lead us in a matter of a couple of decades into an incredibly energy self-sufficient world. On the other hand, if we give it to Brazil to grow offsets, if we give it to the various strategies that go with cap and tax, we may have very little except very little. That's what this is all about. And if people ask why we're calling it ClimateGate, I was a teenager when, during the 1972 elections, there was a break-in at the Watergate complex. Nothing happened until somebody illegally went to the press and started being a whistleblower, the famous deep throat that we now know was in fact the #2 at the FBI. Now, we didn't know who deep throat was for a generation, but what we did know was the information delivered showed that there had been a terrible crime committed for which the settled science of the 1972 election turned into the first resignation of a president. It was serious because, in fact, something serious had happened. Playing with the science, even if global warming is a reality, even if, in fact, it has to be dealt with by reducing our carbon emissions, the difference of a small percentage could turn into 100 years to make the difference and an opportunity for a world to transition in a positive way. So I'm not here to tell you that I'm a good enough scientist or even a scientist. Jim Sensenbrenner spent a career here looking at a lot of this science. What I'm here to say is that my committee, which deals with waste, fraud, and abuse, fraud being one we're dealing with, wants the facts so that we not waste $1 trillion of ours and more and the rest of the world's resources if, in fact, we could direct those same resources in a better way. Copenhagen, for us, is an opportunity to talk in terms of what's the best way to reallocate these resources. Is it, in fact, an immediate shutdown in the carbon output of one particular item, CO2, or should we be looking at continuing to work in a cleaner water, cleaner air environment and finding ways to wean ourselves sooner and not later off of fossil fuels? That's the reason we're going to be going there. We're going to be going there with open minds because we believe the science is not settled, at least as to the speed. And that is enough in doubt that I think all of you should be asking that question, just as the press made the break-in at the Watergate go from being a small scandal to changing the outcome for a generation of how we think about what's right and wrong in politics. And what's right and wrong in science is that you tell the truth, you reach your conclusion, and you let peers review that, your underlying facts, and see what their conclusions are. We have all been denied that, and until we get that, we should not be committing the jobs in America that will disappear if we make the wrong decision. Thank you. Look forward to your questions.